All right, guys, I want to make some new videos and stuff, but I've been shadow banned for a long time for having improper ideology. And plus, I've had other stuff going on in life that, was more important than running a YouTube channel. And I came close to just deleting the entire channel, actually, a few times. But the comments that you guys leave me, has prevented me from doing that. I've actually been interested in doing some live streams because I always wanted to talk to you guys directly. If I could have some type of radio show or podcast or something where people call in or we get a co-host or something, because, I'm more of a community type of person where I want to hear what everybody else got to say instead of just me talking. This channel was never about YouTube fame or having somebody look at me. That's where some of my haters got me messed up. Like somebody left me a comment on my LeBron video saying I'm a wannabe YouTuber. And I don't know what evidence he's seen that I want to be a YouTuber because I don't ever upload on this thing. Everybody that comes here knows that. More specifically, I want to hear what you guys that come to the channel got to say. And I want to hear you guys talking. I always enjoy everything that y'all say to me. It doesn't matter if you're a hotep, a foundational Black American, if you're from the Moorish Science Temple. It doesn't matter to me. So long as we are seeking that knowledge and getting together, on that, that's what really moves me. Now, what I would like to know is if I should do a live stream and anybody's going to show up. If ain't nobody going to show up, I'm not doing it. I wouldn't mind even like an Amazing Black People podcast or even just like a whole ass show, like everybody else got where we get together. I see a whole lot of shows on YouTube nowadays and they're talking about absolutely nothing, except about how cool they are or, hey, look at me. And I feel like this look at me culture has been contributing to the dumbing down of our culture.
So all you bitches hating on me, you bitches need to get your motherfucking money up. Stop hating, bitch. Go get some money, bitch.
Yeah, y'all already know which certain individuals I'm talking about. I don't normally, call people out by name on here unless it's super Egyptian from the good old days.
Again, none of this suggests or mentions a Proto-Indo-European or a camel riding, invading takeover.
But I really am, interested to get together with somebody, so we could move forward and do something else other than me making these homemade videos clowning the Eurocentric critic. I also would like to do a sort of reaction and review of the old videos. I like to call those the good old days of YouTube. It was the Wild West of YouTube where we just pretty much did whatever we want. And, them days are gone now. Things are much, much more corporate and politically correct nowadays. If you got improper ideology, your ass is getting banned or canceled. And we saw a lot of that over the years. I took a look at that, didn't want to have no parts to do with that. That's when I started slowing down on making videos. Because frankly, in my opinion, YouTube is an anti-Black people channel. They find ways to feed anti-Black people videos constantly in the recommendations, even though I actually never watch Black people videos on my computer. I got certain ways to go around YouTube if I want to watch somebody on YouTube so they can't track me. But I noticed that if I use their official forum, though, their official, distribution network that they call YouTube, I know there's a lot of anti-Black people stuff getting put up. And there's a lot of sellouts out there, too, who are getting richly rewarded throwing us under the bus. I recently went back and looked at a few of the old videos that I put out years ago.
What is an African-centered approach to Egypt? African-centered Egyptology aims to look at Egypt as part of African culture.
I also got new information, new research. We still got tons of pictures that we can look at and talk about again. But again, if it's only 5 people watching, then, honestly, I don't feel like doing it. Because I got other stuff I could be doing. Yeah, usually on YouTube, if you fall off and stop making videos, you stop getting views, You ain't making no comeback, you know. You ain't making no comeback. I'm sort of like the black version of Leafy. Like he just went missing. Ain't nobody seen him since except on an airplane one day. I would say that the ultimate goal of the channel when I started it, though, was just to pass the information along, pass the knowledge along. And I would have liked to have seen somebody else, you know, sort of take up the mantle and just keep on running with it. Because, you know, my job was not to be here forever. And so I could take this opportunity to highlight one amazing black person. Y'all should check him out. His name is trillblk. He gives you the true African perspective, you know, of many of the things that we talked about. And I just want to say, trillblk, if you're watching, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. You're exactly what, you know, I had in mind when I first started the channel. All I needed was just somebody who can get a bigger audience than me, somebody that's more important than me, you know, to take this information or whatever information they got and just, you know, keep it moving to expand this to other people, you know. And I always consider myself to be irrelevant. I had no hopes of collaboration of any kind with anybody. And, you know, I always downgrade myself at all times because, you know, you must humble yourself to be exalted. Over the years, the haters have come by, told me that I'm a big fat meanie because of how I talk to them. But it's like I've said year after year, I've been sent here to punish the Eurocentric critic, and your punishment will continue. I'm a master of asymmetric warfare. That's why when these haters come to me and start talking, it has no effect because they have no idea what I'm doing or even what I'm on. They can only look on the surface level and think that they're doing something, but you're really not because there's always a bigger and higher goal in plan for me that goes way beyond being a so-called YouTuber. And the fact that trillblk exists in this world as he does today tells me that the plan is working. Because I told myself years ago that if just one person puts on his running shoes and starts running, then my mission is accomplished. But getting back to the channel, you know, I got tons of stuff that I can keep putting up. We can keep talking about it all day, every day. But we're going to need more than 5 viewers. You know, I don't even care about subscribers. You just need as many eyeballs watching, you know, as possible. And, you know, I kind of work against myself with that because, you know, I don't make videos with the slick graphics and talking about, hey, guys, how's it going? Don't forget to like and subscribe and blah, blah, blah. No, we some militants over here, you know, we just do it in a militant fashion. And we definitely need a new sort of process because, you know, there's a lot of sellouts out there nowadays whose job is to be a plant and to undermine, you know, everything that our teachers has accomplished for us in all these decades. And, you know, I think it's kind of sad ultimately that the Eurocentric critic could pretty much be shut down so easily only for us to have to start a new battle against these so-called sellouts that call themselves black people. And y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Y'all know exactly who I'm talking about. And even though the Anglo-Saxon Empire is falling down around us, don't forget that the academic empire is still standing as tall as it ever was. And for me, the academic empire will always be the greatest adversary because they are the ones ultimately who started this process in the first place.
I'm gonna ask your question. Do you have proof or a method to show and prove?
Where we got to run around, correct information, and then get accused of racializing. And as you all know, they racialize first, and we come by to correct their ass.
But I gotta go research. I gotta go research.
I would say that most of the friction I ever got, though, and I would say that most of the friction I've ever gotten, though, has been from American Anglo-Saxon types who have always been the weakest people on the planet. And that is now being exposed to the rest of the world. And I'm going to keep it 100 with all of y'all right now. Some of the most inspirational support that I've ever gotten has come from Europeans. Yes, Europeans. It's been too many times, when I engage with them, and, it would just be so heartwarming, about how for them, what I'm talking about is like ABC. They're like, well, yeah, obviously, especially the Eastern Europeans. When I start talking about the Greeks, they're like, yeah, the Greeks are nothing more than the pets of the British. I'm like, yes, I like how you're talking. The ancient Greek worship. They're trying to be a Roman, running around with the Roman has a English accent, which I always thought was completely ridiculous. And this is all stuff that we talked about in the past. It hasn't gone anywhere. It hasn't been shut down at all. But we need more black scholars. We need more young black children getting into the study of history. We need more African people studying their own DNA instead of allowing this Jewish conglomerate, to just dictate what's going on. I showed all the evidence ultimately before everybody's eyes that they have barely studied black people's DNA. They study all this European and Asian DNA, but they always make sure that the black DNA is a complete mystery. And so I would say, like, one of my new goals now is that we need to get more black people educated in these areas that the academic empire is constantly dictating. And we need more scientists. We need more original research coming directly from really the African perspective, not just the African perspective, but just the rest of the so-called diaspora, while also rejecting this sort of extremist attitude that has developed among some of our people who have attached themselves to the Anglo-Saxon, who are going to go right down with that Titanic ship. And I remember years ago saying that the Anglo-Saxon Empire is coming down. This was when everything seemed fine. But I'm like, nope, Anglo-Saxon Empire is coming down. They are weak as hell. And I know of some actual African sources that were celebrating the fall of the Anglo-Saxon Empire is coming down. These people have now tried to kill their own selves by voting in people that's trying to destroy them right now. But you got to remember, if you have attached yourself to the Anglo-Saxon, your ass is going down with his ship. And so I suggest that you get yourself a lifeboat and start paddling away. And I guess since we now live in the new America, I guess you could really call yourself a foundational black American because you are now the first version of some new shit, if you really think about it. But me, I don't switch the game up. I'm not a switch hitter and a transformer. I still been working this way ever since I remember, and it ain't gonna change.
All of a sudden, when they tried to say, well, these are not black people here, these are actually black Caucasian, black Caucasian, black Caucasian, black Caucasian, black Caucasian, black Caucasian, 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 oh, those are black Caucasian.